Hey gang, good evening. Anthony Fontana here, live after 5. Running a little bit late tonight. It is 7:51 in the evening. It's been a busy day, a fantastic day actually. We had a great one. Up at 6:30, pretty much got quite a bit done. Nowhere near what I needed to get done, but got quite a bit done between that and the time that we left. We went to a party for my best friend Tom, childhood friend Tom Manos's grandson, second grandson, little Thomas, with the Natolis and with the Manoses, and we just had a blast. I mean, anytime I get together with Tom, I know Tom since I'm only 15 years old. Hi, Sean, how are you? What's going on, Sharon? How are you? What's going on? Hey, Ricardo. I know Tom since I'm 15. I met them literally. They showed up on my street, Tom and Frank, some 45 years ago, and I literally met them just a few months after they became orphaned because their parents were killed by a drunk driver in Orlando while they were just about to start their Orlando vacation many decades ago. That's how I met them. And we became best friends that day, literally never leaving each other's sides through thick and thin for a long time through our childhood and our teen years and high school, etc. We just had a great relationship. We don't see each other often enough because we're both pretty busy, but they live pretty close, and they always invite us to everything involving their family. 2 months, we have a wedding with his daughter in right here in town. And these are my nieces. This is my family. We love these guys, and we're so grateful that they invite us to these events. Amanda and Victoria, tremendous people. We have Sabrina, just three beautiful human beings. Tom and Paula. I know basically Paula from when Tom met her, and I tried to convince her not to go out with him because he was insane. I loved him to death, but he was my buddy. But we're like this, and just the best. So we had a great day today. It's a fantastic day. Great evening tonight. Talk about this. What I want to talk about is something that MJ and I have been watching, something she got me to watch really just earlier in the week. It's called The Kindness Diaries. Leon Logothetis is the producer of the show. And happy Easter, my friend. How are you? And the premise of the show, it's on Netflix, and the premise of the show is really very straightforward. I was reluctant to watch it, and I put off watching it for quite a long time. Because it just, the Kindness Diaries, he traveled around, getting help from people, and then he would help them back. And I just thought, it's a cliche. It doesn't, it's probably just going to be an overproduced show, like a reality show. Well, I was wrong. You have to watch this show. They're only 19 minutes per episode, 13 episodes per season. I think he's on to the second season. We just started the second season tonight, one episode of it. I gotta tell you, every single episode moved me. Now, MJ had already watched it, and true to form, she's already watched it. She's already gone through it. She convinced me to turn it on, and I watched it, and she still went through every episode with me, even though she already saw it, kind of acting like she never saw it before. And every episode, it ends with tears. Every episode ended with something very special and magical happening, and the interconnectivity between this young man who basically left Los Angeles on a trike, basically an old yellow BMW motorcycle with a sidecar, literally traveling 25,000 miles around the world. Obviously not driving completely around the world, but relying on the kindness of strangers, where he would arrive in a city driving, I guess you can get a few hundred miles on a bike's tank of gas, and he would drive several hundred miles a day on this thing, landing in town after town, and he would have to find a place to stay, and he would have to find food, and he would have to find help, but he couldn't take money. Now, he's a very successful, he left stock brokerage, and he was very successful as a stockbroker. So in my mind, he has money, but he's not using it for this trip. Well, he gets into each town, and each town, there's always somebody that assisted him to maybe for a place to sleep. Obviously, it's a lot of editing going on because it's a lot of video, I'm sure, edited down. It's heavily edited, so there's a lot of rejection, and he shows some of that. But he always finds a place to sleep, always finds a hot meal, always finds a new friend, and that always leads to something else. be it a pet shelter where he decides to fund the entire shelter for 12 months in somewhere in Canada, or in, I think it was Bangkok, where a mother with her son, widowed, living in an open walled roofed structure in the middle of the woods over there, suffering from HIV, lost her husband to HIV. He decides he's going to help her. They're going to build a shelter, a house with a working toilet, working kitchen for this poor woman. The poverty and the way people live blew my mind. And in some of the richest cities that he went to, where he could barely get anybody to even give him a piece of bread, in the poorest cities, the poorest, he was able to get help. An Indian couple, pregnant woman, 2 kids, a 2-room house. The 2 rooms together were no bigger than half of this kitchen. There's half the kitchen's over there. I'm in the other half. Half of this is the whole apartment that they shared with each other with 1 bed. The 4 of them slept on the bed. Well, he comes into their picture. They feed him. They gave him that bed to sleep in. He's a god to them. Unbelievable. Actually, wasn't. I think that was in India. Story after story. And this guy was a rickshaw driver, an electric rickshaw, a little yellow electric rickshaw. And Leon and his partners bought this guy his own rickshaw because he was paying 500 rupee a day for the rickshaw rent and try to feed his family and give them an education. Another couple somewhere, I forget the country now, where he decided to fund the education for this other couple's 2 little kids. Amazing stuff. Kindness Diaries. And if you look at the beginning of the post for this particular video, good flows through us, but it's our job to let it do so. And it was so, it was so obvious and evident of the happiness and the joy that this man is bringing to other people. Hi, Gigi, what's going on, brother? How are you? Appreciate you. Hi, Irene, how are you? Good to always see you here. So I suggest you watch the show. It's 19 minutes of your time. Maybe it'll give you an idea. Maybe it'll be very simple. I mean, one of the last episodes, he is somewhere in Alaska, and or the Yukon, and he ends in Canada, I guess, having driven down from Alaska into this cold, bitter climate, and he meets a man who takes him in, feeds him, stories, beautiful man who just, kindness, it just flows. It just flows. And when it gets cut off, I think that's a tragedy. I truly think it is. You know, MG and I sitting there thinking, God Almighty, we are, happy Easter, Pedro. We are beyond blessed. I mean, I don't even know how to describe some of the situations that we saw people in. If I complain about anything, I need to be slapped in the neck with a pipe. It just, I can't even understand the poverty that exists in this world with governments that are so wealthy and yet they let their people live the way they let them live. It blows my mind. And, 19 minutes in an episode isn't a heck of a lot, and I expected it to be an hour each, but they were so fast and so short that I hope this guy keeps doing what he's doing. This particular group of episodes was filmed in 14 and 15. I think the second season is probably right around maybe last year, I guess. I don't know. All I know is it opened up my eyes to how amazing people are. I'm not going to give you all the storylines. I think you need to watch it in full. But how it goes full circle from the first guy in Los Angeles that simply decided to fill up his little tank of gas so he can start the journey. That journey changed many, 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 many lives as he traveled around the globe, 25,000 miles, only to come back to where he started. And then he does something special for the man that started him on the journey. It's just a great talk, a great series of videos that I think you should watch. And I think if you're watching this video, it's Easter weekend. Tomorrow's Easter. No matter what your faith is, no matter what what God you worship, no matter what you believe, we're all human beings. We're all on this one giant blue marble spinning around at 960 miles an hour, 66,000 miles an hour through space, around the sun that in and of itself is moving at 400,000 miles an hour, in a galaxy moving at several million miles an hour. We're constantly moving, constantly moving. We need to move. We need to move ourselves into the hearts and minds of other people. We need to be kind. I've been speaking about this a bit lately because I got the idea from Gary Vee, who I never expected to be talking about kindness because he's a businessman, and yet that's what he talks about. He talks about selflessness. He talks about giving rather than receiving. When I was on the phone with Gary a couple of weeks ago, the first thing he said to me was, what are my goals, what are my ideas? And then his answers to me about what I need to do was simply this: give away what you are, who you are, what you know. Just give it away as best as you can. You have to feed your family, you have to make a living, but give away what you can. Give it away. And don't expect anything in return. And MJ and I have been trying to do that, but the Kindness Diaries kind of focus like a laser beam, and we are going to be putting together some really cool things to do with each other, for other people, as gifts of ourselves to them. So join me in doing that with anybody that you think has a need. Maybe it's somebody, an 82-year-old guy in a grocery store with, a tomato and a quart of milk, and he's walking up to the self-checkout line. Why don't you take care of that bill for him? Why don't you do that? Why don't you reach out to somebody that maybe needs a phone call? Somebody that you haven't spoken to in a while that maybe needs a phone call, but you're not connected anymore for whatever reason. Do something out of the ordinary. Take care of someone else. Don't look at yourself. Don't look for something back from it. I can tell you right now, it will come back to you 1,000-fold. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to finish my coffee, and we do truly love you guys. And if I can do anything to help you, you know how to find me. I'm always here. I'm always around. Just reach out and touch. We love you guys. Have a great night.